All right, let's dive into a story that's literally etched into ancient Sumerian tablets. We're talking about an epic tale of cosmic journeys, intense family drama, and a pretty wild explanation for how humanity itself came to be.
But here's the thing, this story doesn't start with "let there be light." It actually kicks off at a really tragic end, with a god named Enki just grieving. He's looking out at a world that's been completely wiped out, and he's feeling the weight of every single soul that was lost.
So what happened? The tablets talk about this evil wind. And it's not just a storm. They describe it as a forbidden weapon that just swept across the land of Sumer, poisoned the rivers, and left nothing but silence and death behind. Now get this. The tablets are really clear that this was no accident. This wasn't fate. It was a deliberate choice, a decision made by the gods themselves. So the big question is, why? To figure that out, we have to rewind way, way back in time, and very, very far from here. You see, the chain of events that ended so badly on Earth, it all started with a massive emergency on the Anunnaki homeworld, a planet the texts call Nibiru. So, Nibiru. Their world was literally dying. Their protective atmosphere was failing them, a hole had opened up, and it was threatening all life on the planet. Their scientists looked at the problem and came up with this one incredibly desperate solution. They needed to find a massive amount of gold, grind it into a super fine dust, and spray it into their sky to patch the hole. And you know what happens when there's a crisis like that, right? Political chaos. The king at the time, Lameha, he was just offering prayers, not solutions. So a prince named Alulu saw his chance, staged a violent coup, and took the throne, promising to fix things. But then he got challenged and defeated by another prince, Anu, who became the new king. The whole place was a mess. So you've got this deposed king, Alulu. He's defeated, disgraced, and he knows he's basically a dead man walking. And right there, he makes a choice that's going to change the destiny of two different worlds forever. He wasn't going to sit around and wait to be executed. No way. Alulu secretly steals a ship, and not just any ship, one armed with nuclear missiles, weapons that were totally forbidden. And he just bolts, fleeing into the darkness of space. A king without a kingdom, on the run for his life. And where does he go? He points his ship right at the one place you are not supposed to go, the asteroid belt. They called it the Hammered Bracelet, and it was basically a spacecraft graveyard. Every probe they'd ever sent there had been destroyed. But Alulu wasn't just running. He was on a mission. Using his ship's forbidden weapons, he literally blasts a path for himself through the asteroids, roaring a challenge to the heavens. He was betting everything on a secret he'd found in their ancient texts. And against all odds, he makes it. He gets through the Hammered Bracelet and arrives at this blue and green world the Anunnaki called Ki. That's our planet, Earth. He scans its surface, and his instruments confirm the impossible. It was loaded with the exact gold they needed to save their world. You can imagine what happened next, right? Alulu's discovery sent shockwaves back home. Finally, there was hope. But this massive expedition to Earth also brought all their old world problems with it, especially the rivalries. King Anu sends his two sons to lead the mission, and man, these two did not get along. You had Enki, the brilliant scientist, the firstborn son, but his mother was a concubine, so he wasn't the legal heir. And then you had his half-brother, Enlil, the legal heir, the commander-in-chief. This power struggle between them is going to be the source of almost every single problem from here on out. So, they arrive. A crew of 600 Anunnaki, and their name literally means those who from heaven to earth came, to start the grueling, absolutely back-breaking work of digging up Earth's gold. They set up shop, they established their first city, Eridu, and the mining begins. But this was not what they signed up for. The work was way harder, and the conditions were way more brutal than anyone could have possibly imagined. So after what the texts say were centuries, think about that, centuries of this brutal labor, something finally snaps. The miners have had enough. We're talking a full-blown rebellion. They burn their tools, they surround their leader's camp, and they are threatening to kill them. The whole mission just grinds to a halt. And this is where that rivalry between the brothers just explodes. Enlil, the commander, is furious. His solution? Crush the rebellion. Punish the workers, make an example of them. The mission is too important. But Enki, the scientist, he sees it differently. He argues for compassion, saying the work is just too hard for them. He knows they need a completely new plan, something radical. So with the fate of their entire planet hanging in a balance and a mutiny on their hands, Enki steps before the Council of the Gods, and he reveals a secret he's discovered out in the wilds of this new world. He tells the stunned assembly, look, the solution isn't to punish the miners, the solution is to create a new worker, a primitive laborer. And then he drops the bombshell. The being they need to do it, it already exists, right here on Earth. And this, right here, is the story's most dramatic turn. The Anunnaki Council makes a decision to take an existing species on this planet and alter it, to engineer a new being in their own image, to bear the burden of their labor. A being they would call the Lulu, a primitive worker. A being that, according to these tablets, we would come to know as man.